bringing it back to the SEC, shout out to Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, LSU has fallen off the fucking rails.
Yeah.
They have.
I genuinely think the fact that LSU keeps losing football games is the reason that South Carolina is being disrespected. And
it's valid.
We all know, we talked about at length how South Carolina got during that game.
Yeah, I was going to say, for any box score watchers out there, there's a couple of the most controversial calls of the entire season contained in that game.
Multiple pick sixes wiped off the board. Am I wrong? I know the one.
I believe
the one that was the most.
The blindside block.
Yeah, but I thought there was another one in that game. I'm not
there
sure.
There might have been, but they got screwed over on multiple occasions in that football game, unfortunately. But hey, they played good football.
What's Brian Kelly's contract look?
Not good.
Because that man is getting into it with players on the sidelines. And not like Nick Saban and Will Muschamp getting into it with players. Like kind of little man syndrome.
Yeah, not anything respectable.
You think you are. Yeah, like that kind of stuff. I mean, I will say the leash for Brian Kelly might be a little bit longer than what we think it is. They do have the number one player in the country coming in. Bryce Underwood, number one quarterback, 5-star plus guy. So the leash is a little bit longer, but I mean, definitely we are looking at Brian Kelly and LSU differently than we were 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, he came in so hot, making the SEC championship his first year with LSU. Set the bar pretty damn high with that. But, everything kind of evens back out a little bit. It's in the SEC, and LSU hasn't really had law of averages, and the LSU really hasn't had a hold on the SEC in a while now, and it's kind of hard to obtain that. I don't think LSU is a bad team. Obviously, I think they've been a bit disappointing this season. I think going into the season, coming off, Jaden Daniels' Heisman season, expanded 12-team playoff, there was probably, I'm not super in tune with the LSU fan base, but probably a palpable, realistic expectation that they would at least be in the conversation for the playoff at this point in the season. And they're out of it, obviously, with this latest loss.
It was.
It was. So, if I'm the fan base, a little bit upset at that. But like you said, Noah, I think that leash might be a little longer, giving him a little more time. But I think if he doesn't make the playoffs within the next couple of years, and making the playoffs is easier now, we might be, looking for a new coach if I'm LSU. But
yeah, I mean, Brian Kelly, the sky is not falling at LSU. Like, this is the first time that they've lost 3 games straight under him. And, yes, they are having a bad month, but love him or hate him, he's not a bad coach. Like, he has taken an LSU team and beaten Alabama a couple of times. He has taken an LSU team, lost the opener, I'm pretty sure, for the past 3 years, and then clawed his team back to relevancy in the middle of November. And another reason why his leash might be very long is there are about almost 62 million reasons why his leash is pretty long.
Yeah, that's valid. That is a good reason.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is also still an athletic department that is also still paying Ogeron from his buyout. Yeah, no, Ogeron is still receiving cash payments until the end of 2025.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's the dream, man. That is the dream.
I would love to get paid to see
Ed Ogeron, Jimbo Fisher, that kind of thing.
The best job in America is to be a highly touted fired head coach, especially in the SEC.
Yeah,
I would 100% agree.
Yep.
But
it also kind of plays into the whole the James Franklin of it, where it's like, if you move on from Brian Kelly, his floor is probably top 10, top 15 coach in the country, something like that.
Yeah, at least 8 or 9 wins.
I mean, and a job like LSU, like the LSU job comes open, people are going to take notice. So who knows who they'd be able to snare if they, cut ties. But
That's valid. I mean, yeah, I have a hard time believing that they would be able to do anything better than a lateral move. I think most likely, if they did decide to cut ties, it would be kind of a spot where you have to take a little bit of a risk on somebody who's a bit more unproven, who could pan out to be, somebody like a hidden gem. But probably that route. But I was just going to say, on the flip side of that coin, Billy Napier has done wonders to save his job at the University of Florida. I mean, the fact that they're within arm's reach of a bowl game this season, I think, is impressive. Coming from Georgia fans, they seem to get up and play for. So, obviously the other week the juxtaposition of we're keeping Billy and then flashing the score bug, getting the shit kicked out of him by Texas. But, it's the same kind of thing where obviously Billy Napier's floor, I'm not comparing Billy Napier to Brian Kelly by any means. But if you move on from him at this point, there's a buyout and then you're taking a risk on somebody. They already took a risk on Billy Napier, so you're going to go out and take a risk on somebody else again. But
I also love how I say Brian Kelly's floor is 8 or 9 wins. They are currently 6-4 and only have 2 left to play, and one of those teams is Vanderbilt. So, and Oklahoma. Oklahoma is sneaky. So, I don't know. Jury's still out on how this season's going to end up for LSU, but I mean, they had an awful lot of key games that they just haven't taken care of business in.
Yeah.
But, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And as I've heard some of the guys I listen to on the Big Bets on Campus, it's an oblong ball. You have no idea which way it's going to bounce. So
valid.
Yep.
Very fair. Anyhow, running through the rest of this slate.
Kansas, BYU.
Boise State beat the shit out of San Jose State. Ashton Genty legacy game.
Yeah, and he's not going to win the Heisman, and I'm going to be upset about it, but he's not. We can have Heisman talk. A dedicated Heisman talk.
Yeah,
segment at some point.
He only had 160 yards and 3 touchdowns, but yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
How many touches did he get though?
Yeah.
How many
did
touches?
He get a
it's not impressive.
Off a deflection?
He did get 32 touches. So
what if Travis Hunter got that many catches?
Ooh.
How many yards would he have? Anyways, shoulda, woulda, coulda. I mean, I'm not shitting on Travis Hunter. I think what he's doing is very impressive, very rare to see, especially in today's college football. However, not a very good argument from him. But I still think he probably wins the Heisman.
I mean, yeah, just because I feel like, he's an above average DB and he's an above average wide receiver. He is the most athletic person on the field, no matter who they play, until they make the playoffs, if they make the playoffs. And even then, he has a case to be called the most athletic person on the field. Even if they're playing Ohio State, he still has an argument.
I'm telling you right now, they're making the playoffs.
I like that.
They got Arizona State.
Yep.
And then
I mean, with Kansas beating BYU, doesn't really impact BYU too much.
Sorry.
But with Arizona State being Kansas State,
door's wide open.
Sorry, they're at Kansas this Saturday, and then they host Oklahoma State to finish the season, and then they're probably playing BYU in that conference title game if they get through these two. BYU, and I mean we can talk about them as well.
Yeah,
did not look good whatsoever.
Oh, no,
to a struggling Kansas team who's been below average and not met expectations this year.
Yeah.
Kind of took care of business. I mean that one clip is hilarious of the little quick punt from
the quick kick?
Jalen Daniels and right in the back of the head. That shit was hilarious. I think that sums up the whole game pretty well for BYU. BYU on their front. Not a lot went right for them.
Yeah.
Nope.
Ugh.
Nope. But yeah, Colorado is in the driver's seat. They control their own destiny in the Big 12. And it's not even they need help. They just received the help that they needed.
How funny would it be This is just pure hypothetical. I don't even know if this is possible. Boise wins out. Colorado wins out. Boise, being the higher ranked of the two conference champions, gets the first round bye over Colorado. But they give Hunter the Heisman. I mean, if I'm Genty, I think I would gladly take the bye over
over the
personal
Heisman
accolade. Like, that's just me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason he stayed at Boise State.
Exactly. He could have gotten a bag pretty much anywhere else.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, for Colorado, genuinely, like you have to treat these next 3 games as playoff games.
Yeah.
Because
they are
almost what they are. Because you're sitting at 6-1 in conference play, currently tied for first, but Arizona State and Iowa State are chilling right there at 5-2, and I'm trying to see if they have the head-to-head over either one of them.
Did K-State lose last weekend? I think they lost.
K-State did.
They did.
Yeah.
So
lost to Arizona State,
but they have not played Iowa State or Arizona State. So, listen, just keep it simple for yourself. Just win out. Call it a day.
It's all in front of them, and that's what I'm loving right now about the 12 team. There's so much more meaningful football created in season. Back against the wall, elimination games in as early, in week 12 and even earlier. With Alabama, LSU. So it's been a lot of fun so far.
100%.
How long till we go to 16?
Honestly, probably not that long.
Not that long.
No.
But shout out to the Cox taking care of business. Like, I don't know.
Doing what they need to do. I mean, I know they're most likely out of the playoff conversation. Like we said earlier, I've heard some people, this and this and this to happen in like Noah's scenario at the beginning of the video.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been quietly one of the better teams as of late, as of the past few weeks down the stretch in the SEC.
Yeah.
Not overall record, maybe, but
yeah. I got something to say on this one. To those of you out there who watched my video on Friday, I said this game would be close. And in the comments, I was berated. I got told, no, South Carolina's going to beat them by 60. This game's over at halftime. This and that. Like, yes, I use some hyperbole calling it a potential game of the year. I do that from time to time. It's called showmanship. It's called flair.
Look it up.
Read a book.
Man's been watching Better Call Saul.
Yes. I'm slipping Jimmy. Anyway.
Hey, yo.
Told you so. It was a good game. Told you so. It was
a good game.
Very good game.
It was a good
Very
game.
Good game.
People sleeping on Mizzou, man. That pissed me off.
See, but like the thing is, every time Mizzou's played a ranked game, they've gotten their asses whooped. So like, I understand what the people had to say in the comment section, but like,
Brady Cook also.
South Carolina,
I ride for Brady Cook.
They did not have to start Drew Pine.
Exactly.
So that kind of helps a little bit.
I mean, South Carolina is a good team, but they're not world beaters. All right, they win close games. They're
going to be damn good next year.
Yeah, they are really fun to watch.
Yeah.
They're making a playoff push next year. It's impressive. Beamer ball is working.
They get Bama at home next year, dude.
If they beat LSU, they'd be making a playoff push this year.
Yeah, absolutely. They almost beat LSU, almost beat Alabama. I know shoulda, woulda, coulda. Doesn't matter. They lost, but I mean they're right there.
Yeah,
it's been impressive.
Yeah. All right, boys. Time out. I'm so sorry. I've got to pee like a fucking racehorse.
We're leaving it in.
Huh?
Leave it in.
Bring your mic with you. Just talk while you piss.
So anyway, like I was saying.
Yeah. Brandon, honestly.
Is he frying chicken?
Yeah, we can keep going if you just want to leave this in. I know you kind of edit it every so often, but
yeah, I go in there and Can you tell me the timestamp here?
We are in.
Are you able to do that?
Yeah, we're in the 34th minute. So
okay, appreciate you. I may or may not leave it in. We shall see how long it takes him to relieve himself.
That's valid.
We can run through. I'm trying to look and see if there's anything else we need to touch on before talking about the Georgia game.
think that's all
I think
I
we've
have.
done a good job of bouncing around. SMU
Ooh,
beat
Navy
Boston
got
College.
killed. Tulane
Yeah.
beat Navy by 35.
Navy's fallen from grace ever
We
since
got-
that Notre Dame game.
Let's see here.
That was efficient, Mr. Allen. Good shit.
Thank you. I try my best.
Anyways, I think we've come to the conclusion that we are ready to talk about the Georgia game.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
So
And then
if you
after
want to
that,
buckle in for that.
okay. And then dogs, and then preview.
Yeah, probably a quick dogs.
Yeah.
Already pushing 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
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 But yes.
Sounds good.
All right. We can time back in.
Time back in. Timestamp is 36 minutes on the dot.
Hell
Very
yeah.
nice.
All right.
So
moving
Georgia.
on to Georgia. I was not aware of who's driving. We kind of just going for it.
Nobody.
That's
Nobody
fine.
in particular.
Love it.
Anybody can do it. That's
We are
it's just
strong,
free flowing.
independent men.
Each one of us.
3-man weave,
Yes,
boys.
it is.
3-man
It is.
weave.
It's a beautiful thing when executed correctly. Anyhow, yes, Georgia, biggest game of the day. Our biggest interest of the day. If you've been a viewer of the channel for a while, it's not hard to tell where our interests lie. Typical Georgia slow start. Turned it on.
Yeah.
So it's not good for my health, but
Nope.
it works.
Shout out Carson
Also-
Beck.
Honestly,
Yeah, man. Came out through damn good game, no interceptions. Carson Beck needed that.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Had a
That-
sneaky 350 passing yards.
Yes. 347, I believe. Two
Yeah.
through the air.
Crazy.
Both
Did
to
not
fall.
feel like it.
2 through the air, 1 on the ground.
That
3 total.
scramble for that touchdown, he earned my respect back.
That and
That
then
was
the
really
scramble where he lowered his shoulder and kind of bowed over a DB a little bit.
Yes.
He
I
introduced you to Jay Cutler. You see that video on TikTok?
Yes.
That's the vibes it gave me. That's the vibes
Mhm.
it gave
Just ran him in.
no, I love it. I love the grit out of him. It's refreshing to see, and he's obviously very much still fully invested in this team. I wasn't really questioning that. I was just questioning his ability to throw the ball to the receivers on our team. But it seems like he has turned a new page. Hopefully, knock on wood. At least last week he did turn a new page for that one game at the very least. And so I saw a stat on Twitter that under Josh Heupel, Tennessee has only scored 1 passing touchdown against Georgia
I saw
in the entirety of his tenure
I saw
at the
something
University of Tennessee.
similar. 0 third quarter points in his entire tenure against Georgia. 7.
The 7 straight, right?
8 straight?
Is it 8
I
straight?
think it was 8.
It was 8. Yeah, I saw a graphic
Yeah.
stacked 4 and 4. It is 8.
That's hot.
That is hot.
Yeah, I mean Georgia continues their dominance. Haven't lost to Tennessee since the I think they call it the Dobnail boot, which is very original. Get your own name, but you know,
Black's
we
creativity,
won't.
2 out of 10.
Yeah, we won't revisit that. That was a very large swing of emotions, but since then, I mean, it's been dominance from Georgia.
It is.
To be frank, Tennessee came out, put up 10, and then basically Georgia. I don't know what the run was. I mean, the rest of the way out, 31-7.
Yeah.
The rest of the way out
That's
after that.
Wild.
So
And Tennessee had not allowed more than 20 points in a game.
yeah,
On-
I mean they've been playing good defense.
On
They've been
Sports
playing
Center,
good.
it was prior to college game day. I saw a stat. I think there's only been 8 teams through, I guess, like 10 or 11 weeks that have allowed less than 20 points. Tennessee was, I guess, the 8th one. The previous 7 had all won the national championship.
Yeah.
Mm.
Sorry.
Ain't
Well,
gonna happen. Sorry, brother.
sorry if we have any Tennessee fans that are viewing our channel. I don't know how many, if any, but we had to take a little victory lap.
Yeah. I'd love to see like a breakdown of everyone's like. Maybe
Yeah,
we
can
put
we
out,
get
like a Google sheet?
Yeah.
Type in
Who's
percentages.
who's yeah?
No, we should definitely. So you know how like you look in like a YouTube studio or a TikTok studio and you can see like the demographics. That
Yeah.
should be a category.
That would be so
That'd be
cool.
sick.
College
I would
football
enjoy that a
affiliate.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
it was a great game. It was
yeah,
one of those where I was sweating bullets in the first half, and then you blink and it's like, oh shit, we're up 3 possessions. That's crazy.
yeah. No, it was very much like that, and I think one of the more underrated things that I appreciated out of the Georgia offense was the utilization of the tight ends.
Yes.
Obviously, Delp had a day. Lucky had some touches. Even Urasic finally got something going after being a dropped ball, miss block machine all season. Had a pretty clean game. So, I mean, it was a pretty clean game offensively all around. You still got, I mean, drops are still an issue. That's still the glaring issue. But the offensive line, shout out to them after a one of the worst performances out of a Georgia offensive line in recent memory last week against LSU. Came back and did what they needed to do. Or not LSU, sorry, Ole Miss. Different former SEC West team, but against Ole Miss. And they're a very, very good front seven. Got handled. So they came back out this past Saturday and handled Tennessee's front seven much better.
It's always good, like, because you know that the offensive line got their asses chewed.
Absolutely, and they deserved it.
You know that. Like, their manhood got called out. And, like, they're probably seeing all this shit on Twitter and Instagram or whatever. It's like, you know, you're seeing all the sack celebrations, all the TFL celebrations on ESPN. And you've got to step up. You've got to step up.
I heavily criticized the offensive line. Right hand up. I
think we all did.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I don't think it was, undeserved.
No. Well,
I mean, they got their lunches eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as a former jack of all trades offensive lineman, pulling guard and fullback, like, we're a little sensitive when it comes to the boys up front, right?
Yeah.
Like, we probably focus on the offensive line play more than 75% of college football fans.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I remember watching Georgia games, and I'm like, oh shit, nice block. You know, I'm not even watching what the quarterback's doing. I'm like, oh, beautiful blitz pickup.
Look at that pass set.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
but no, it was a refreshing win.
It was
absolutely, and I mean, I was saying before this game, backs against the wall, Georgia at home, night game, rival in Tennessee. If they couldn't turn it on for that, then I don't know if there's any point in coming out for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So they did what they needed to do in the moment where they needed to do it, and it's. I was going to say all in front of them. I mean, it is pretty much all in front of them. You went out, you're in the playoff. Not the SEC championship necessarily, but, you went out, you're in.
You want to play well enough to make the playoff, but not play too well where you make the SEC championship game.
The funny part is... Yeah, that's where I'm at. The funny part is we're done with conference games, so we can play it as well as we want, and the SEC championship is completely out of the hands of Georgia.
That's true.
Yep.
So they do not control their own destiny in that aspect, but in terms of the playoff, they very much do.
Yep.
Honestly, it's fine with me.
We can have. I was about to say we can have that conversation, but it sounds like we're on the same page, and
I think we are very much on the same page. Go watch my go watch a TikTok I put out earlier today. This would be Monday, so a couple days ago, whenever this comes out. But I don't want to make the SEC championship as a Georgia fan. I think I'll take the extra week of rest and potential, depending on how the rest of the playoff field shakes out, potentially hosting a first round playoff game in Sanford Stadium. I'd take that. I'd take that deal. That's a damn good deal.
Against a most likely, no disrespect to the rest of the country, but against a most likely lesser opponent.
Absolutely.
Gotta give me Penn State and Athens, please, dude.
Oh,
give me that.
I'd be
Dogs by 60. Kirby Smart would tear James Franklin a new asshole, dude.
He would make James Franklin feel like he was back at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, probably.
I like that.
Anyway,